Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another episode. How are you all today, sisters? I hope and pray that you're all really, really well. My dear sister Iram was going to come today, but I think she's been held up by something. Where there we are. Sorry about that. Yeah, we've started. Fatima. Okay, so wait, Fatima, is that Fatima or Ramesa? Okay, yeah, so Jazakallah khair for coming, and like I said, I apologize, but inshallah, maybe she'll show up in the middle of the recording and she'll be here, inshallah. Let's see, hopefully. Okay, so what we wanted to do was share with you how to achieve spiritual serenity as a mum this Ramadan. So, as you well know, that the first week I kind of said, as a busy mom, it's really hard for us to make that time to like do all of the little bits of ibadah that we want to do. Week 2, we started talking about the children and how to keep them occupied, especially when they're fasting, and giving them kind of little activities to do to just keep them distracted, and so that they're not thinking about their fast and when they're going to eat next, and the food and when's the food coming. So little activities that you can do with them to decorate your house, make it look lovely, and let the kids just have a bit of fun with the arts and crafts, inshaAllah. I know I wanted to have a session with both of us together, but inshallah, she will come in a little while. Let's see, inshallah. Okay, so we just hopefully make the while that she's going to be here. Anyway, as Iram wrote the book, I don't know the book off by heart, so I'm going to share with you some brilliant tips that she wrote last year in 5 Steps to a Spiritual Ramadan, because these were tips written for mums. We wrote it as an ebook, and it's still available on Amazon Kindle. I will share the link with you below. It's still there, it's still available, you can still buy it. We have tried to do a PDF version that you can print out, and that still is in the planning stages. Inshallah, at some point we will be able to do these things. SubhanAllah, today on the Ramadan activities group, a lady said that she had loads of things to share, and I asked her, could you put it on a G drive for us? And she said, I'm not sure if I can do that. Basically, it'll take a long time for anyone to do that on a G drive. And I think that I was just telling the virtual assistants that, people don't really understand how much time, energy, and effort this online work is, subhanAllah. So it was nice to get that little kind of appreciation by the sister. Okay, so what I want to do is again reiterate the fact that we are all moms. Some of us work outside the home, some of us work inside the home, and we're all busy, right? Whether we're working or just stay-at-home moms. I can't even say just a stay-at-home mom, because there's millions of things that stay-at-home moms do on top of their normal routine. So it's kind of hard sometimes for mums to actually sit down and say, right, this is my time for ibadah, and that's it, and focus. And somebody had shared a list in one of the Facebook groups I was on that said, this is the way how to get the best out of Ramadan. And they just basically had a big schedule of like, at this time do this salah and do these surahs and read this much Quran, and then at this time and that time and that time. And a lady said like, no one can do this unless they are single or they have no children. And just give me a second. Yeah, it's blurred. Just run past. Sorry, Chloe. Sorry. Okay, so what I want to say is that we can actually do these things, okay, but it might not be in such a very rigid, scheduled way. And I forgot my joke that I was going to say before my daughter just disturbed me there. The joke that I was going to say is some lady said, how can anyone do this? This is so much work. They can only be single, or they don't have any kids, or they don't have work, and then they can do this. And I said, so basically when a man, right? A man could do that. A man wrote that because men can do that, right? And I'm not saying that to be, genderist, but obviously it is easier because they don't have this load that we carry, that I've started calling the mental load, because there's a mental load for men, but for women that mental load seems to be much bigger, doesn't it? Unfortunately, or fortunately, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so men have different responsibilities and we've got different responsibilities, and it is hard for them to go out every day and go to work and earn that money and bring the bread home, right? I'm not saying it's easy, and on the other hand, it's hard for the ladies to stay at home and keep the household running and keep all of that going. So at some point there's going to be give and take, right? So we were just kind of having a little laugh about that, saying like, oh yeah, men can do that, but we can't. Now, one of the first lectures that I listened to when I was, I say first lecture, it can't have been the first lecture, I think it was only about 10, 11 years ago, but one of the shayukh was doing a lecture, and to be honest with you, I can't remember who it was either, but anyway, they basically said that everything that the mother does, the wife does during Ramadan, she gets rewarded for, because if you make that intention that you're going to do all of this for the pleasure of Allah, that it's part of your ibadah, that you're raising these Muslim children, inshallah, you're making food for everyone who's having iftar, you are making sure they have a clean home to live in, they've got lovely food on the table at the end of the day, right? All of these things that you can do to make your everyone's Ramadan more enjoyable and more basically that you're able to fast and get through Ramadan, right? All of this that you're doing, you're going to be rewarded for, inshallah. And actions are by intention, so make that intention that Allah, I'm doing this for you, for your pleasure. I want you to reward me for all of this stuff that I'm doing for my family, because it's by your intention, right, that we want to get that extra reward. We want to pray extra Quran, we want to pray extra nafil, and do more ibadah. Obviously we all want to do that, but sometimes it's just for some people it's impossible, or at least it's really, really difficult, and for others it might be easier. And we're all at different stages of life, so you might hear of mums who all their kids go to school and they're all over the age of 5, 6, and they've got the whole day to do all of their little bits and bobs, and then they've got the evening to spend with the kids, and they're teaching them every day, and they're doing a prophet story, alayhi salam, and they're doing one of Allah's names, and they're doing their Ramadan journals, and they're doing, and you just think oh my God, why am I not doing that, right? Okay, it's okay if you're not doing that. It's not a problem, inshallah, because Allah knows what your intention is. Allah knows what you want to do and what you are capable of doing. So as long as you're striving and you're making that effort, then inshallah Allah will make it easy for you. So one of the things that we wrote in 5 Steps to a Spiritual Ramadan was about the gratitude mindset. So just being thankful for all of the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you, right? Being thankful for literally every single thing, like this computer in front of me, the fact that I can talk to you through the internet, the fact that I can go live and talk with all of, mashallah, at least 100, 200 women a week, mashallah, that we're reaching mothers that are all over the world, that are able to listen to us talking, and we're helping them raising children of the ummah, inshallah, right? So being thankful for everything, thankful for the air we breathe, obviously, the food we eat, and the fact that we have time to do things, and the fact that we're not preoccupied with, I don't know, earning a living, for example, that some people would have to do. And the fact that we have this opportunity to be in Ramadan and experience Ramadan, right? Even the fact that inshallah allows us to reach Ramadan, right? Okay, so just being thankful for everything. And again, that's something that you can do by yourself. You can do it in public, you can do it with the kids, you can do it in privately, you can do it while you're driving to work or driving back. Just literally thinking and contemplating and being thankful, right? Now, sometimes it's kind of hard to be, you kind of feel like, am I being thankful enough? Am I remembering, Allah enough? And I am thanking Allah for everything, right? So what we need to do is remember that you have the patience to strive through Ramadan, right? So you have the ability to get through Ramadan in a beautiful way. And yes, we're going to be tired because we're not going to be sleeping as well. We're going to be hungry, obviously, because you're fasting. You might be having kids that wake up early and go to school. There might be kids that are staying at home and you're trying to homeschool them and trying to get through all of these things that you're trying to do, and you might find it really hard, right? So as long as you keep on praising Allah, thinking about Allah, remembering Allah, whatever you're doing, inshallah, Allah will reward you for that. We were joking the other day at school because we've got a very, very boring job while the students have mock exams. They're having mock exams at the moment, and there's a very boring job, which is you have to watch them while they're doing the exam. So you're not allowed to have your phone or any book with you or anything. You've just got to literally watch the kids, and we were laughing that it was the most boring job, but subhanallah, I was laughing with them because obviously they're going to find it boring, but the Muslims of us were like, oh, this is alhamdulillah, I've got an hour, right, where I can just walk around and do zikr. Alhamdulillah, no one's going to ask me anything, no one's going to interrupt me, no phone's going to interrupt me, nothing's going to interrupt me. It's like you're literally it's like a God-given opportunity, subhanallah, right? Okay, so you're just walking around watching the kids, but you're making zikr under your breath. And inshallah, these are the little gaps that we need to find that spiritual serenity, because I know that after I did that, so I had that yesterday, last lesson, just before I was coming home, and I felt calm and serene when I came home. When I came home today, I wasn't in that same mode of mind, and I just thought, oh my God, what was the difference? SubhanAllah, yesterday I was annoyed that I had to walk around there at the beginning, but then when I remembered that I could do my zikr and I could remember Allah, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I was really, alhamdulillah, happy about it when I came home. So these are the little pockets of time that you can grab. Sometimes back in the day when my mum didn't have a washer dryer at home, people used to have to go to the laundrette, right? And she would be sitting there and she would literally take her books, she would read, she would take that time as this is my time, right? And I remember she would only take me because I was the eldest, and then the other little kids had to stay at home with my dad, and it was for her, it was oh, this is a nice little break. And again, I used to like going to the laundrette because again, this is a chore that you have to do. You have to wash all the clothes and dry them and whatnot. Funny thing is, now I have to do it myself. I'm oh God, I've got to go to the laundry. But it's the same thing. We actually make it a little trip. That's when I'm in England, by the way, because I have too many clothes for everyone's washing machines over there. Okay, so to show gratitude for Allah's blessings, you just keep reminding yourself that being with your children, being around your children, all of the are all really amazing blessings, right? The fact that anything that you any of those characteristics of yours that are good characteristics, alhamdulillah, I am a patient person, alhamdulillah, I really thank God, alhamdulillah, that I'm quite good at being patient, and I'm quite quick with things, and and try to think to yourself, when it's Salah time, can I read Salah as early as possible rather than pushing it later, right? Try to think to yourself, okay, after this salam, my child stayed asleep for an extra 10 minutes. Oh, I can read a little bit of Quran in these 10 minutes, right? Okay, or like until the kid wakes up, you can carry on doing what you're doing. Yeah. Nowadays, alhamdulillah, the YouTube is fantastic, and we've all got smart TVs, so we can just stick on the YouTube. We can put on some Quran while you're doing your work, while you're walking around, while the baby's crying, while you're playing with the babies, whatever it is. Okay, even when your children have got, they come home from school and they're eating or whatever, you could put your Quran on. You can put lectures on. Mashallah, Sheikh Omar Suleiman does amazing ones every Ramadan. I think he started in lockdown, wasn't it? And for the last 2-3 years, they've just been amazing, haven't they? Each series has been wonderful. So you can even start like watching them again, because obviously, obviously if you watched it in Ramadan when we did 2020, rewatching them, that's also easy for you. And I like the fact that they're 10 minutes, right? Because it's like quick and easy to digest. And I did say to some of you, some people were like, why don't you do shorter videos? And I was like, honestly, like the information that I want to share with you is more than 10 minutes, but I can't do 10 minutes a day. Inshallah, one day, inshallah, maybe I will be able to do, right? So that's the first one, right? So shukr, the shukr mindset, the gratitude mindset. The other idea is to repeat Allah's name. So we said about the zikr. So knowing about Allah's names and knowing that you can call upon Him with those names. So for example, you learn one of the names of Allah, like let's say Ya Al-Shafi. Excuse me. Coughed at that moment, subhanallah. So you say to Allah, like, by this name, Allah, heal me, heal the problems that I have, like give me good health, give my children good health, give the ummah good health, everyone that's suffering from anything. And you can just make your whole dua just about healing, and you're making dua, it's still a form of ibadah. Like, that's not separate to your nafil or your Quran or anything like that. Even if you're cooking and you're reciting Allah's names, even if you're cleaning and you're making dua, you can still make dua. Obviously, you can't stand with your hands, like this, but obviously you can still talk to Allah, have that connection, and make the dua. And remember that when we use the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will amplify your dua, right? And I don't know if it actually amplifies it, but like in your mind, it will amplify your dua, and it will make you stronger at asking Allah for what you want, what you need. What you can do is you can do like a little series where you do like one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names a week, one prophet story, one story from the Quran, and just like keep on going with that. Because remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes the deeds that are small but consistent, right? So when we do when some people go all out in Ramadan and then they just burn out at the end, right? So like on Eid or after Eid, they're just like, oh, I can't do anymore. I'm exhausted now and I can't, right? We're human beings. We're not made to do like this ibadah every day, all day, every day, like the angels are, right? Okay, so we have got bodily functions. We've got to eat, drink, and sleep. We've got to go to work, and we've got all sorts going on. So what we need to do is make the most of our time. But remember that if you continue those deeds after Ramadan, they're the ones that we need to like focus on, that we can be like, right, I'm doing that. So then next year, when you add the next good thing in, you will then be able to continue it on. Wa.alaikum assalam, sister in Facebook. I'm not sure of your name. You can write it for me if you want. So the next step is to think about your self-reflection, right? So think about yourself, think about how you are, as a parent, what you're doing as a Muslim, what you're doing as a mother, as a sister, as a wife, as a daughter. Walaikum salam, Farida. So nice to see you. Right? So this is about you, your reflection, right? So you're trying to achieve the spiritual serenity. And you might think to yourself, you know what? When you've done this self-reflection, you might be like, you know what? I'm not doing enough, I'm not spending enough time with my children, right? Or you might be like, you know what? I don't think that I'm patient enough, or I think that I shout too much, right? Okay, so just think about the one thing about yourself that you're like, you know what, I want to change it. And if you make that intention that you're changing that thing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You're changing it like with the intention that you want to make your life better, you want to make it like nicer for Ramadan and after Ramadan, and you want to continue with that, then that is like another thing that you can be rewarded for, and that will bring you the spiritual serenity, because you are doing something that you want to do in Ramadan. You're starting it in Ramadan, but then you're improving your demeanor, you're improving your timekeeping skills, you're improving your attitude towards Salah. Like whatever it is, you could have like a goal of doing that, and you could actually get, achieve that goal. And again, it doesn't mean that you're sitting there, trying to do as many things as possible during Ramadan. The other idea is to remember that when we're talking to our children and we're talking to them with love, right? One of the nicest sayings that my dad used to say to me is like, when you look at your dad with love, like Allah rewards you for that. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a hadith or a saying. Someone please correct me if you know. But it's like basically looking at your father with love, looking at your mother with love, right? So if you can Zoom with the extended family, if you can FaceTime them on the phone, or even go and visit them. I'm saying that because I live abroad, but the rest of you don't live far from your parents. Having your parents over, having them near you, just kind of being there for them and serving them, as well as serving your own children, and teaching your children that you have respect for the older generation, whether they're aunties, uncles, cousins, whatever. That showing the kids that adab and that respect for them, so that inshallah they will learn off you. And again, you're doing this with the intention that you're trying to make yourself a better person this Ramadan. You're trying to be more spiritual, more understanding, and so on. There's other things that you can do, like keeping away from people that are backbiting or gossiping, or just wasting time doing other things. And you can be like, you know what, normally in the evenings, because I do this, I scroll on is it IG? Instagram, is that what you mean? Yeah, scrolling. I do this when I find like house ideas. Like now at the moment, I'm scrolling with the Ramadan decor ideas, right? Okay, and if we just stop that, if we just go, right, okay, you know what, I'm gonna uninstall Instagram and Facebook for a couple of weeks off my phone, and then you know what, some of the groups that I left last year, I didn't even join them again until September, when I wanted to advertise my new classes. Some of them I didn't even join back in September, and I just left it until I was really like, you know what, I've got to advertise my parenting conference, let me join it again, right? Okay, so turning off your social media, and with the intention that you want to use that time and utilize that time for good, right? That will also obviously help you, inshallah, in achieving that spiritual serenity. The other problem with Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatnot, is that you're always going to have this comparisonitis that Farah Halabi calls it, right? Farah, she calls it that, yeah? Comparisonitis, where you compare yourself to everyone else. So they post, oh, I've read my Quran Khatam, like I've done one full Quran and it's only day 5 or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, I feel so inadequate. Like, how can I not do that, right? You're not in the same stage of life. Remember that. You're not in the same ability, and you don't know if they're telling the truth. I mean, hopefully they're not lying about it, but you know what I mean? Like, they might have started like 10 days before Ramadan, right? So there's a point there to be made on basically freeing yourself up from things that maybe take a lot of your time, okay? And then finally make istighfar. I'm just making sure that I've said everything in the list. Make istighfar, because that is, again, super easy to do. You can do it while you're walking around. You can take your kids for a walk. You can take them to the park, and you can be doing this on the way there, on the way back. You can teach them to do it. You can do salawat, and again with the YouTube, so easy, because what you can do is you can put it on YouTube, and there'll be like the 1 hour black screen, and is zikr, for example, or 1 hour black screen and it's salawat, or 1 hour black screen, whatever you want. There's so many of them, and all you need to do is press play, and then the kids will start reciting. Then you'll just see it, you'll be like, oh my god. And I think I gave this tip for the Eid Takbir as well, because this is how we continued to say it, because when you say it yourself, like, you say it and then you just kind of trail off, and then you just start talking about what's going on. But if it's still on in the background, when you've finished saying whatever you're saying, you'll go back to it. When you finish getting distracted, you'll come back to it. And that's what I really like about that, mashallah. And again, teach the kids little poems, teach them about Allah, teach them to be respectful, to all of this stuff that you're teaching them, inshaAllah, you're getting rewarded for. And whether you do it in Ramadan or out of Ramadan, obviously the difference is there's way more reward in Ramadan for all of these righteous deeds, right? So the people that the people that try to do these things will, inshallah, achieve that spiritual serenity as a mum, inshallah. Ameen. Make dua for everyone around you, make dua for your family, your friends, everyone in your parenting tribe, the whole ummah, inshallah, right? And really strive to do your best. And again, this is the reason I wanted Iram to come now today. The reason I wanted Iram to come now today is because I wanted her to talk more about the spiritual serenity, because I don't feel like I ever achieved that. So I don't want to be hypocritical, but I'm sure you know what I mean. I don't think I am hypocritical. I'm trying, right? We're all trying, we're striving. But the reason that I wanted her to talk about it is because my first video was like, it's okay, sisters, if you're all right, if you're too busy, if you can't do this, if you can't do that, because I was talking about especially the working mums. The working mums, subhanallah, like superheroes, aren't they? MashaAllah, because they're not only doing the outside stuff, they're also doing the inside stuff. And then you've got the single mums that are struggling with this. Then you've got the mums that are living with a husband that unfortunately is not doing what he's supposed to be doing and helping out and so on. So subhanallah, there's so many things that you can do, right, to keep your faith and keep making dua and try to get the most out of Ramadan. And the thing is that at the end of it, a lot of people, you'll see they'll be like, oh, I wish I'd have done this, and I wish I would have done that, and I wish I would have done this. But we all have to remember that before we were born, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what we were going to do each Ramadan. He knew, He knows what we're going to do. So all we have to do is make that intention that we want to do more, and inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate it. All right. I hope and pray that this helped you and gets you in a nice mood, ready for the beautiful month to start, inshallah. Hope and pray that everyone has a wonderful Ramadan. We are going to we're going to trial this. So we're going to see how it goes on Monday. And if we get enough sisters and, you're interested and you want to do this, then we will continue every Monday at Iftar time in a different country. so that the sisters who are having their iftar will not feel alone or isolated, especially the revert sisters. Now, the original plan was to have like more coaches involved and do it on different days, but at the moment it's going to be on Mondays, inshallah. So we've chosen Mondays. If there are sisters that are feeling really lonely at iftar time, just don't hesitate, just reach out to us, and if we're available, we might just be able to jump on to a Zoom call with you. We don't want you to feel alone this Ramadan. We want everyone to feel that community spirit and feel togetherness. So we thought it was a nice way to support the mums that are alone at this time of year, inshallah. So we've called it Layali Ramadan. So if you see any posters about it or any messages, that's what it's all about. And please do join us, inshallah. So we'll be starting on Monday, inshallah, at iftar time for UK, which I think is the first iftar, actually. I don't know if that's going to work, if everyone's going to be busy on the first iftar, I believe. But I'm talking about especially the single mums, like if you're going to be alone that day, that we are going to be there for you, inshallah. Okay, so we will try Monday and see how it goes, and if everyone likes it, then we'll continue. If not, we'll go back to our original plan, which is on Monday and Thursday we just share a quick reminder of Ramadan with you, and we kind of just talk through any issues that anyone's having, like, what can I do for this or what can I do for that. So sort of like a quick 30-minute surgery on parenting surgery on Zoom, inshallah. Okay, sisters, so if you want to get involved in that, make sure you're in the WhatsApp group. So we have 2 WhatsApp groups at the moment. The one for Your Parenting Tribe, where we share all of the advice about parenting in general, and then we also have a Ramadan Activities 2024, mashallah, group where they are sharing loads of resources. All the sisters are sharing loads of resources, and I do have mine almost ready to share with you, but not quite. So inshallah tomorrow, inshallah, please pray for me that I can finish it all off tomorrow before Ramadan starts, because that is my aim, and I'll send it out to everyone so that you have it ready for Ramadan, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for coming. The sister that just commented, please tell me your name. I'm not sure what AA means. If it's a question, is it ask a question? I don't know. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Tofi. Hope you're well, inshallah. Hope and pray everyone is well, and thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat now, or you can pop them in later on. I'll come back. Ameen. Oh my God, Tawheeda. Ameen. And if you have any questions, anything, just send me a message, send me on WhatsApp. I will be having some time, inshallah, in Ramadan, but I will also be trying to stay off social media, inshallah. Let's see how it goes. Who thinks I can do it? Inshallah. All right, sisters, Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.